Okay, so these are the notes that we took on May 17th and 18th. El 18 y 10 de mayo, más o menos. Y in tu tabla de contenidos vas a ir a STEM changing verbs. We're going to learn about some more STEM changing verbs right now. One more group. So if you were absent, please jot these notes down in your cuaderno. So we're going to call this STEM changing. We'll just do the STEM changing verbs, parte dos. And these are going to be, as you'll see, the E becomes an I. Y yo estoy probablemente en página, ay, ¿en qué página estoy? Perdón, clase. Estoy en página 67, más o menos. 67, you put it on your next new page that you have. Okay? So STEM changing verbs, parte dos, necesitas un lápiz y necesitas un resaltador. Okay. And of course, as always, pause this as you need to get your verbs written down. Okay. Ahora, aquí. Let's do this. STEM changing. Oh, that's a little slow today. STEM changing verbs. The E becomes an I. Y hoy es el 18 de mayo de 2022. Try and get this done before everybody starts coming in. So we talked about the boot and how some verbs are inside, or the stem changes depending on where, who's doing the action. And I'm going to just jot down some sentences we said from when we were talking about these verbs. So a couple of verbs we talked about was the verb pedir. Pedir means to ask, to request something, to ask for permission. It doesn't mean preguntar, which means like to ask for information. Pedir is to ask permission to do something or ask somebody to do you a favor. Okay, so we had in class Andre, this is from Spanish from 5th period, but it works for 6th period too. Andre pide permiso para salir de la casa. De la casa. Andre pide, asks for, permiso para salir de la casa. And if you're thinking that means Andre asks permission, were you thinking that was permission? To leave the house. Now, that would be the proper translation. It's not the Yoda translation. That would be a little different. Here's another one. We said, because Duncan did a great job finding this pattern, we had some other verbs up on the board. So another sentence was Duncan, I'm just writing D, una de para Duncan. Duncan dice el patrón de los verbos. And I know if you've seen the word dice, you probably might remember it means says. So Duncan says the pattern of the verbs, or Duncan says the verb pattern. Muy bien. So patrón is pattern. Y por fin, then we talked about animals that follow you around the house. And Amari has a cat that follows him around the house when he's at home. So Amari tiene un gato que le sigue. So Amari tiene un gato que le sigue, that follows him in casa. So again, the proper translation would be Amari has a cat that, and here it's him follows, but in English we say follows him at home. So those are a couple of the ways we would use these verbs. Now, if you'll notice, so pide means asks Dice means says, and sigue means follows. Okay, now we're going to draw a couple of verb charts, and these are some verbs you're going to, hopefully you'll see the pattern when we do this. Okay, so we're going to do 2 verb charts here and then one more on the bottom. They're each 7 lines long. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's see. You can fast forward through this part if you want to. Ya viene nutrition. Then I'm going to do another one over here.
Where has the day gone, Angela?
Oh, un momento. I'm recording right now. That's okay. No. It's okay. That's fine. Oops. You guys didn't hear that. Ok, muy bien. El día va rápido. Y una vez más, uno aquí. Ok, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, if you want to record through this part, you can do that. Or fast forward through this part. I might have to pause and go shut my door. Okay, so here we go. So we have those 3 charts up. Now, what I want you to do, we're going to do these verbs. Repetir, and you're probably thinking, oh, that looks like to repeat, and it is to repeat. And then we're going to have the verb decir, which means to say. Decir, and we've seen that one. And we're going to learn a new word. We're going to learn the verb seguir, which means to follow. I'm going to pause this so I can go close my door because it's going to get kind of loud in here in just a second. So let's see if we can do that. And minimize, pause for a second. Ok, estoy aquí otra vez. So, tenemos esos 3 verbos y ahora vamos a conjugar estos verbos. Repetir, decir, seguir. And we are going to put them, first we're going to do our boot. So again, the boot looks like this. So it goes for yo, tú, él y ella, y ellos. Remember, nosotros and vosotros are out of the boot. And then I'm just going to conjugate these. And hopefully you'll notice how this E right here changes, this E right here changes, and this E right here changes. So look for those changes. Here we go. So I repeat. Repito. Repito. Tú repites. Repites. Tú repites. Okay. Ella. See if you can figure it out. Ella. Oops. No pay. Ella repite. Repite. Okay. Ella repite. Now, nosotros is out of the boot, so it's not going to change. It's just repetimos. Remember, it's an IR verb. Repetimos. Repetimos. We're not going to worry about vosotros. And then they repeat is in the boot, so that second E changes to an I. Repiten. Okay? Then we have the verb decir, and we've heard this verb a lot. Now, the way I say is a little weird. It's digo. Digo. It's like the verb tango. All of a sudden you're saying go for yo. Así es. Digo. Tú dices. You say. Tú dices. Él dice. Él dice. And again, you're noticing how that E becomes an I. Again, nosotros. Can you figure out what nosotros is going to be? Decimos. Nosotros decimos. No vamos a hacer vosotros. And then they say would be ellos dicen. Okay. Y por fin, seguir. Again, seguir means to follow. Okay. And I follow is kind of like digo in that it becomes yo sigo. There's a G in there. Yo sigo. Tú sigues. You follow the rules. Tú sigues las reglas. Y, let's do a non-binary person follows. Ella sigue. Notice it has that U right there. We have to keep that U in there. Ella sigue. We follow. Seguimos. Again, it doesn't change. Y por fin, ustedes siguen. Ustedes, you all, siguen. You all follow. Okay, so these are some more boot verbs. And again, the E is changing to an I in those forms. Okay, except for nosotros. Okay, buen trabajo, clase. Good job getting notes done if you were absent.